So in this question, we have graphs that are down at the bottom. So we could analyze those to begin with our OI zerga. And so we have OI X R S A. And we notice that all the axes are the same. They're all velocity. So the origin, we can see right there is the 0. And we can see they're all oriented the same place. In the coordinate plane, they're all right here. Okay, so we've got that checked. The y-axis is velocity. The x-axis is time. The things we will be able to answer or read right off the graph are velocity. The slope, delta v over delta, is delta y over delta x. And so that's delta v over delta t, which is the acceleration. And the area is v times delta t. Meters per second times seconds gives us meters. So that's going to give us the displacement. All right. So next, looking at these, we can read the question next, just the question, because there's a long paragraph and it's easy to get confused by the details. Which of the following sets of graphs is a reasonable interpretation of the velocities of the lion and the gazelle as functions of time? So we have a picture here. Picture's worth 1,000 words. The first thing to notice is that this represents time 0, the initial conditions. This represents time 1, some point later, and that's time 2, at later still. Now, we will glean that by reading the paragraph, but we can see from the picture what's going on. Coordinate systems, this is the positive direction and the negative direction by convention. All right, so what we can see in the beginning then is that the V0 of the lion is negative. This picture shows the V0 of the gazelle as being 0. And so let's read the first sentence. We have a lion running at constant speed. Constant speed. Okay, so what does that constant speed mean? That is standing still. So to begin with, we're looking for the easiest thing from that is that the gazelle is standing still. So V0 should be 0. So for the gazelle, that works. For the gazelle, its velocity is 0. Its velocity is 0. Velocity is 0. Velocity is 0. So that doesn't really help, knowing that in the beginning, because they're all consistent with it. The next thing is that the lion's velocity is negative. And if you notice in the beginning, that's negative and constant. Negative and constant. But here it says the lion's velocity is positive and constant. Positive and constant. So that means really these two choices are out, most likely. The only way that those bottom two answers could be correct is if this were negative and this were the positive direction. So we just want to keep in mind that if we had defined the directions differently, those could be potential answers. All right. So we see that happening. The lion changes to, let's see here. After several seconds, the gazelle notices the lion and accelerates directly toward him. So that means the velocity of the gazelle stayed 0 for a couple seconds. And if we notice that, that's exactly what we see here. We see it staying 0 for a couple seconds. But here, this says it accelerates immediately. Already, it's inconsistent with everything. And that's choice A. This choice is the correct answer. Because none of the others meet those criteria. And just a tiny little detail. Notice that we didn't have to read the whole question. We can if we want to. But getting bogged down in all the details and guessing which one will confuse us. We want to take the first fact and check it against the answers. Eliminate those that don't work. And we keep eliminating until we're done.